my name is Brianna Sinclair, and this is my 24th week on HRT. If you like my content, please like, comment, subscribe to show me your support. If you're already subscribed, please stay tuned. There's a lot more to come. And with that being said, let's get right into the video. So as I was saying, this is my 24th week, and we'll jump straight into the measurements, which are my hips are 34 and a half, bust is 35, and my waist is 25 and a quarter still. So none of my measurements from last week to this week changed, with the exception of my hips, and that might be the start of me seeing the fat redistribution, but I'm not 100% sure. We'll find out. As for my bust, it's still 35 inches, as it has been for a minute, but I think that's due, not that they're not growing, I think that's due to them widening, not growing out, because whenever they grow out, it's increasing that distance, the overall circumference, whereas whenever I measure, I go across like the middle, and whenever they widen, they close that gap that I miss, because I don't like go in. I just go like around the circumference, kind of like this. I don't press it, because this is the tape I would use, and I would take it just like this instead of like pressing it over and trying to contort it to get like any shape like that. But I think that's what's going on, because they are definitely getting more noticeable. At least that's what my wife has been saying. They are getting more noticeable, and that's what I'm attributing that to. They do in fact still hurt, but they kind of look the same, so I don't know quite where that's at. I was watching a video that was recommended to me on breast growth and one of Dr. Z's videos, because I still do watch other transgender content, because I want to be as informed as possible, and looking at like what happens with a cis woman doesn't always reflect what happens with us, because we start off structurally different, but the end result is usually similar, if not the same. So I kind of watch both. My emotional state is, I'm gonna be completely honest. Making this video, it's been a week since the election results came out, so I am very raw in my emotions right now, and I don't know how much control I do have, because I'm more scared than anything at what's going to happen and what happened his first time. So that is kind of where I'm at that. So I feel like I'm still in control to an extent, but I can 100% feel things a lot deeper, and it seems like they have a lot more of an impact, if that makes sense. I can defend them a lot more because I can articulate my emotions a little better, I feel like. I admit that, yes, I did vote for Kamala. This is 100% going to be my most political video, I swear. Because as a transgender person, to preserve my rights, I didn't feel like I had a choice. Having said that, the next 4 years are going to be very interesting. So yes, I am 100% terrified as to what has transpired. but in no way, shape, or form is it going to keep me from my transition. I'm going to keep y'all posted, but these next 4 years are about to get very interesting. So stay tuned for that. And I'll go into more detail about that here in a moment. I just want to get through everything in the order, and then I will explain what's going on. Hair reduction and growth. I haven't really noticed a whole lot. I have noticed the hair on my mustache area is a little thinner, but I'm attributing that to me tweezing it a lot. I individually pick the darker hairs, so I do that, and with them taking so long to grow back, I feel like as long as I keep doing it, I'm in a pretty good state. My breast growth. I kind of did already talked about this. I feel like they're widening. They're not growing out more, which is fine. I am clearly growing something. This is 100% me. It probably doesn't look like it, but this is 100% me. I don't have any prosthetics or anything like that, so there's that. This is pretty close to what my family is, so that's kind of why I mentioned a while back I think they've stopped growing, because I do expect them to stop whenever I reach close to what my family is. So, and I do expect them to stop growing soon is what I'm trying to say. Fat redistribution. I haven't really noticed any. But having said that, it's a very slow process. I don't think I would notice it yet. So while I did record like a half-inch increase on my hip measurement, that doesn't really mean I'm seeing fat redistribution yet. That could be normal, just me gaining fat there. That just might be where my body's storing it naturally, because with the hip measure being so large and covering so much of an area, it doesn't take as much of an increase there to see a change. So there's that. I have started to eat more so that my body can have something to work with, because how my transition is supposed to go is I am on HRT for 1 year, 52 weeks. And at that 1 year point, I can start medically transitioning. What the term medically transitioning means in this context is I can start getting FFS, a breast augmentation, and if I so desire, SRS. BBL is not included because it is considered cosmetic. But I can assure you, while most of my dysphoria does come from my secondary sex characteristics, my BBL is very much medically necessary for me, so I intend to foot that bill 100%. And I want to maintain it, because once I get it, I would like to maintain it, and I would like to just walk out in society and be a normal girl. Mindy's not joining me. I'm kind of recording this video, and the next couple I'm going to be recording in secret, because we do have a visitor, and they don't know that I'm transgender, so I'm doing my best to kind of like hide it, because I don't want to affect my living situation, which is what I recommend most people do, is until they're safe, transition in silence if possible. If not, if you can't transition in silence, do your best to hold off until you're in full control of your situation. Because even in a perfect world, you could come out to your family members, your parents, your friends, and no one would care. Unfortunately, the world we live in, it is very possible that if you were to come out to anyone, you would be abandoned. So in looking out for my brothers and sisters, it sounds harsh, it sounds back-ass words in a way. But set yourself up for success and put yourself in a very safe situation, a stable situation, before you start coming out. My sex drive, very much the same as last week. It is entirely emotion based at this point for me. That's not to say I don't get aroused or anything like that. That is to say that for me to sleep with someone, I have to have an entirely emotional connection in order to have intimacy with them. And that might just be a me thing, because I can't cheat. I'm sorry. I'm not one of those people that can. Like, I've been given the chance to, but it's in my nature that, like, I just don't see the point. Like, sure, sex is great and all, but is it really worth 5, 10, 30 minutes? An hour maybe? Is it really worth that? No, not at all. And my wife knows this. She's very much in tune with the fact that even though I could go out and cheat, I'm not going to. I can't. I had my chance to cheat, and I didn't take it. We ended up going on a hiatus, and that's a whole story that I feel like should be shared with the both of us, and it was probably one of the darker moments of my life, but in that moment we were both given the chance to cheat because we didn't know if we could make it or not. We both tried, and I couldn't do it. It sounds really weird because I wasn't even on HRT yet. And that's the way I was. So if you can imagine now where things have to be emotion based, I have to have that connection. It's impossible for me to cheat on her in that case. just can't do it. And that's the gist of my sex drive is yeah, it's annoying because like I do need that intimacy and my sex drive has not decreased at all. I think it decreased temporarily at one point and then we're back to where we were. But didn't change except it got harder for me to deal with it. And that's what is annoying about it, is I cannot deal with it the way I used to. And I'm slowly figuring that out. Me being tired all the time is still a thing. I've kind of started to wean myself off of coffee a little bit and caffeine because I think I'm getting used to it. I'm starting my voice lessons, professional voice lessons. I actually started those a few days ago. How that's going so far is I've only had one session, but the outline is we discuss, like she gives us all the knowledge and then we practice, is kind of my interpretation of it. So I think my next appointment is sometime next week. We'll see. And I do plan to keep y'all posted on that, and I hope y'all can hear the difference in my videos. But yeah, I am 100% still tired. I'm still working through it, but I feel like I'm doing pretty well. Muscle development. I feel like my muscle development comes and goes. With the results of the election coming out, I'm going to be getting back into shape because I need to be able to defend myself. During the Trump... I'm going to explain. My job sent me to a very prestigious soldering school. And there we had an instructor who told us about one of his students that was gay. And they went, him and his, I want to say boyfriend, might have been husband, I'm not 100% sure, they went up to Savannah. And someone in a truck with a Trump flag waving on the back was driving by, and the passenger grabbed a brick from the internals of the truck and chucked it at this man. He ended up catching the brick and thought he was fine. And I think it was on a Sunday. He came in Monday morning after driving back and explained to my instructor what had happened. He told him that he needed to go to the hospital. He went to the hospital because it was what was best, and they did x-rays after hearing what had happened, and they figured out he had broken parts of his hand in catching this brick and just didn't feel it because his adrenaline masked it. This was his 2016 to 2020 term. And being gay was a lot more accepted than being transgender. So, with that being so close, and with things getting significantly more out of hand, I feel like I need to protect myself a little bit better. I have already talked about some aspects of it, and I've persuaded my wife to start letting me take certain self-defense classes in order to defend myself very adequately in hand-to-hand combat and stuff like that, so that way I'm not just this target in a dress. I want to be able to walk down the street and defend myself and take care of myself and the people around me very adequately. I've never been a pushover, and my transition is not going to make me one. And I'm terrified because my transition is literally on the line. My job is paying for my transition. And with Trump being elected, he can take that away from me. So, as the president-elect right now, I hope that something is done and he does not make it impossible for me to transition. And that's what's on the line in this very moment. If I am forced to go off of my hormones, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I guess, because I don't think y'all want to see me detransition for 4 years. And then 4 years later, whenever someone else is elected and they say it's okay for me to go back on my hormones and start my 1 year all over again. And I was so close. Almost halfway. This is technically my 6-month point. And in 2 more weeks, that would have been halfway to my 52 weeks. Because the way I record the months and stuff is every 4 weeks. So my videos take place over the course of 13 months. But it's 52 weeks. It is 1 year. So I may look happy, but that's only because there's nothing to be afraid of. I was afraid. For the first couple days, I was afraid. I was terrified. But what's going to happen is going to happen. And there's nothing I can do about it. I'm going to fight it, sure. And I hope that I'm grandfathered in to being able to continue my transition and my journey. There is no guarantee. I could be sitting here 3 years from now and I wouldn't have anything. I guess it would just give me time to perfect my makeup. You gotta stay positive. You gotta stay positive in the dark moments because there's already enough negativity going around. And I'm not going to spread it. So to those of you who just like me are terrified, I implore you to stand together and be strong, because we can get through this. The next 4 years are going to be tough, but under no circumstances do you back down. Be tactful and smart, but just because you lose the battle does not mean that you lose the war. I've lost many battles, especially with my dysphoria, but I'm winning the war finally. I think that's enough for today. I do apologize that this video went a very political route, and for those of you that understand what is going on and what is at stake, I don't need to explain. I did not prep all of the things that happened because I could spend hours talking about it. I am choosing to leave it at that. Very vague, because I don't want to give too much away for my own safety, because I know there are some people on here that watch and mean me harm, and I'm not going to give them too much. And if for whatever reason they figure out who I am and what I do, I am a patriot. And I love this country. We're still an American nation. And I will defend that idea till the last breath. I don't believe I am alone in my thinking. So I imagine there are more like me out there. But stay strong. We've got a lot of work to do and a long road ahead of us. So let's start this journey, as every journey starts with a single step. If you like my content, please like, comment, subscribe. This is Brianna Sinclair, signing off.